Hi, everyone. We're super excited for this season of Frank Fridays. We have had some stellar guests this season, and today we are pretty thrilled because we have Jessica Hodin Lévy, who is the Senior Partnerships Manager with Frieze. Hi, Jessica. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
And of course, as always, we have our co-host, Carlina Moeller of Art Frankly.
Excited to be back.
Jessica, we are curious to hear, as kind of the first introduction to our conversation today, how does art factor into your wider lifestyle?
I mean, I think that in general, artists tell the story of what's going on around us. And so, being in tune with the art world, artists are always responding to events and to the general zeitgeist. So honestly, following the art world, you're always up to date with the sort of wider world, and you can always find some connection to your lifestyle. But personally, it's completely one and the same for me. Art and my wider lifestyle. I travel for art. I socialize a lot around art. I've built a strong community of friends around the art world. And, one thing that I love about this network is that people do kind of live and breathe it and like travel far and wide and show up to things. And, I always try to incorporate studio visits in when I travel, in a typical week in New York. So I feel very connected in my wider lifestyle to the general world of art.
Yeah, I think, the art world is certainly a very unique place in that we're all able to make a career out of what for many of us is also a passion and something that feels very kind of personal. So yes, I can certainly see how art can fill many spaces, both personally and professionally in life. So I think it's exciting to hear how you do that as well.
So Jessica, what keeps you inspired in your personal and professional life, besides all these amazing travels?
I'd have to say, actually, my husband, he's such a hard worker and doesn't let anything stand in the way of his dreams and goals. It's always inspiring to watch him go through life. Within the art world, though, I'd say the artists themselves are sometimes really just the hardest working. And as someone myself with very little creativity in my blood, I is astounded by their abilities to create and continue to reflect on things going on around them. And this is actually, I think, what originally brought me to the art world and what has kept me in it.
I can commiserate with you. I learned early on that I had not a creative inch in my body to be successful as an artist, but I wanted to be in the industry. So yeah, switch gears.
I'm in utter awe of them, and that's really what drives this whole thing. So
totally. So that brings us to our next question, which is a really fun one. If you could spend the night in any museum in the world, which one would it be?
So I thought about this. I don't know, it's not necessarily a museum, but I would say any museum with a James Turrell sky space. Just to be able to lie there all night and watch the environment change both inside and outside. And how the sophisticated system of LEDs sometimes will respond to the color of the sky outside. And just be in this kind of changing context, reflecting both like the art and the nature at the same time. If I could kind of, I wouldn't actually want to fall asleep, but if I could watch this happen from, dusk till dawn, I think it would be an incredible experience. Truly kind of spiritual in a way.
Yeah,
love that.
Absolutely. Well, I love this idea of, we posed a question about spending a night within a space, an art world structure, and you've kind of given us something that feels like it transcends the physicality of a museum. And I think this just segues beautifully into my next kind of curiosity, which is what far-flung arts destination would you want to visit and why?
I think, following the Terrell tip, I definitely want to visit Rodin Crater. Maybe because also it's so exclusive and no one can visit it.
Yeah.
But I'm less and less interested these days in being that kind of like hit list of famous artworks installed in these grand places. Everyone wants to go see the Louise Bourgeois at Chateau Lacoste and the Kusama at Naoshima. And, in today's day and age, I feel that we see so much in pictures and Instagram that the thrill is kind of gone in a way, sadly. So I think, really the next place that I'd like to visit, any sort of far-flung arts destination, would be one where there's a strong community of like local artisans and craftsmen making traditional works. And I know that maybe sounds so stereotypical, but just to kind of be able to peek into a world where art is currently being made, from like a more traditional standpoint. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, we have such an institutionalized and entrenched kind of art market. And so we do have this kind of greatest hits album that everybody aspires to go to these, very kind of sparkly sought after places to see, blue chip artists. But there is something to be said, art, is very much a part of the ecosystem and the economy in a lot of smaller communities. And there is just as strong a sense of individuality and kind of perspective that comes out of that. So I share in that way with
myself.
I don't know. I think we see eye to eye on that one, Jessica.
I mean, I wouldn't be upset if you want to take me away to like
Sure.
Totally.
Well, and to discover it on your own too. I think that's something that we're all looking for these days, is to have a totally virgin interpretation, not one that has been tainted by social media or influenced by the lens of others. So that actually brings me and Ellie to our final question, which is a nice segue from that answer, which is, what art historical era would you most like to have lived in?
I had a hard time deciding on this one. First thing that comes to mind is the era, although it's sort of mired with war. I think it's one that I would have thrived in. First of all, I love the principle of design, architecture, and aesthetics all coming together in daily life. This sort of unity of all art and really living and breathing in that. It was also maybe one of the first places or times that really embraced women and their contribution. I think that even though it kind of sounds like it would have been a little bit of a cult, it would feel very unifying and yeah. But then I started thinking, like, there wasn't much emotion in their art. So like the movement prior to that they were responding to, the Art Deco and Art Nouveau movement, that would have also been a movement that I would to live in. And to have this, sort of, again, like all encompassing feeling, because the art of that movement did seep into design and architecture and but something that was more stylized and emotional. And then I also was thinking about like the Gertrude Stein, like I would love to have lived in like Gertrude Stein's salon, as misogynist as it would have been. Really, I think all these things are, for me, I love this sort of like strong community gathering place where we're exchanged and watching modernity create itself.
I would definitely happily sit at Gertrude Stein's salon.
I would be Picasso there, duh.
I love it. I love it. Well, Jessica, that wraps our Frank Friday today. It's been a delight, and we love to be able to give kind of a little snippet of a portrait of, all of the amazing professionals in this fun world that we live in. So thank you for participating today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Jessica.